All right, great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Massachusetts numbers, 93,693 cases and 6,473 deaths. In the U.S., we had 1,725,808 cases with 100,625 deaths. We also had 479,973 recovered. So that's great news.
Esther, how about for Bellingham specifically? What are you seeing?
Good morning. Actually, things are looking pretty good for Bellingham. As of this morning, we've had 756 residents tested with a total of 131 confirmed cases. We have 23 currently active cases with 98 recovered, and we're still holding at our 10 deaths.
One of the things we were just talking about this morning is when you look at that number as a percentage recovered, we're at around 76%, which is really encouraging for us.
It's very encouraging. And I think as this week goes on, we'll be able to add a few more recovered to that list as well.
That's wonderful.
That is good news, yes.
Going up for sure. Any updates from, yes, come on up, Larry. Our town clerk has got some important updates for us.
I do. Good morning.
Good morning.
So the last day to register to vote is tomorrow, the 28th of May. And I would suggest that if you haven't registered yet, you intend to do so, do it today. So that
It's a perfect day. It's
Yeah.
not even, come on.
you could go on to mass.gov, go to the elections division, and there will be a selection for registering to vote. Also, there are forms here outside the door at the municipal center. To the left of the door, you'll see a large paper holder with pockets in it, and there's envelopes and forms in there. Just fill out the form, put it in the envelope, and drop it in the drop box, a silver colored drop box, so we'll have it for tomorrow morning or later this afternoon. The other thing, tomorrow there's a candidates forum at 10 a.m. at this time. And we have the 3 candidates for selectmen will be here. And so you can get to see what they have to say, see what their visions are for Bellingham. And we also have a couple of other candidates here that are in uncontested races. So that's tomorrow at 10 a.m. If you have any questions that you'd like to submit, please do so. Today would be good for that too. And just in the subject line, just put forum so that we'll know that it's for that purpose. Because we get lots of emails, so it helps to segregate them a little bit. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that we have all the absentee and early voting ballots that for which we have received applications are out. You may not have them, but they're out. They're in the mail. So if you have not yet done so and you would like to get a mail-in ballot, please do the application as soon as possible because we cannot count on the delivery times and so on, which is something else that I'd like to explain. With this particular election, there were a lot of, and still are, a lot of loose ends. So the ballots were delayed a bit because this is the first time ever we've had a 2.5 override. We needed to get confirmation on the question and so on. And it's also the first time we've had COVID-19 epidemic or pandemic. So it's a perfect storm in a way. So the ballots also took a while to get back to us because the company that prints the ballots are on a skeleton crew and things are taking longer. The reason I mention this is because, as I said, the ballots have been mailed out, but I'm getting phone calls as to why did my neighbor get their ballot and I haven't gotten mine, or my spouse got it and I haven't gotten mine. They're in the mail. That's all I can say. I know that's not what you want to hear, but Bellingham, from my understanding, Bellingham's mail goes to Brockton and then comes back to Bellingham, according to the postmaster. So we can't regulate that, and we can really have no control over that. So I'm just asking people to be patient, and if you don't get it by the end of this week, let us know, because it should be there by then, because that would have been a whole week. And The other thing is, in the same vein, I want to mention that the election is going to be very different. The polling is going to be very different from what it has been in the past. We will have social distancing. We are going to ask people to wear masks. The poll workers will be wearing masks. They'll also have shields in front of them. And if you see someone without a mask, there's not anything we can do about it because they might have a medical problem, which is perfectly legal for them to not then wear a mask. So if you see someone like that, please do not go crazy and call the police and so on and so forth, because just don't go near them. Again, we're going to do the best we can given the cards we're playing with.
Larry, it's really not any different than being at a grocery store.
Exactly.
Where you
But
might
so
feel
there
uncomfortable.
will likely be lines because 6 feet apart is going to cause the line to actually maybe be outside. That doesn't mean it's going to take forever to get in,
Right.
but we're social distancing. So I just want to prepare everyone for that so that we don't have commotion at the polling place. And also ask for your patience and understanding because this is unfortunately what we're dealing with right now. So I just want everybody to understand that that's what's happening and those are the expectations that you should have.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank
Larry.
you.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Larry.
All right, today we are also joined by Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Peter Morano. Peter, we'll turn it over to you for an update, please.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everybody. I just want to go over four quick things. One, I would like to talk about our senior parade, which is going to happen on June 5th. And if possible, can I share my screen so you can see what I have? Is it possible for you to give me that ability to share?
I believe we can see your screen if you put it up, yes.
Great. So, everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
So Friday on June 5th, our seniors are going to arrive at the high school probably about 12:45-ish. They're going to line up in the bus loop. Kids are able to decorate their cars before they arrive, so they'll already be ready to go. So they'll line up. They're going to leave the high school at 1 o'clock. They're going to head down Blackstone Street, go on to Maple Street, head down towards Stallbrook. And teachers and families will be available at Stallbrook and all the schools to see our seniors kind of drive through. They'll leave Stallbrook. They'll take a loop through Stallbrook, leave, head towards back towards North Main Street, go down 126 all the way down to DePietro, and then go through the loop there, and then that'll end the senior parade. So what we're asking is, if possible, if people would like to be out at the schools, just make sure you're practicing social distancing to cheer on our seniors, wearing your masks if possible, or staying 6 feet away from each other. It should be a phenomenal event for our kids. We do have a Bellingham PD that's going to be kind of leading the parade to make sure that everyone's safe. But we're really excited, first ever parade that we've done for our seniors, and this will be a great way to honor them. For typically June 5th is the graduation date. Clearly we're not doing it on June 5th, but this will be a great way to recognize our seniors, and we'd love for anybody who can participate or be out there cheering on our seniors to do so. Graduation day has actually been moved to, so you can see guys are going to be there for us. Larger groups of kids. The hope is that we can have a bigger group of kids than if we tried to do it sooner with their families to participate in graduation. So we're looking forward to that. Any questions on that senior parade? I think it's going to be pretty good. Hopefully no rain.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Apologize, Pete. I can't make it. I'm going to be in the Blackstone senior parade for my.
Nice. That's okay.
Same day. It's interesting.
That's yeah. A lot of districts are doing it.
I hope we cross paths. I really do. That would be fun. Probably cross paths on one point.
You want us to wait until you guys pass?
I'll tell you if we keep in contact, work.
Yeah. All right. Let's make that happen.
All right.
This week we also had our seniors come in and pick up their materials from their lockers. It was yesterday. They're going to do some today also to finish up. So they'll drop off any of the materials, but also pick up from their locker. The principals will be organizing at high school for the rest of the kids to come in and grab materials. So what we did with seniors is we allowed 10 in at a time to come in, grab their stuff, leave. Our custodians would clean real quickly and then could process that throughout the day. And we had staff available to monitor and make sure that no one was kind of roaming the building or going places where they shouldn't be. So we're going to work that out for the rest of our school for grades 8 through 11. Middle school, the Memorial School has already distributed all stuff that's from lockers that's been done. We're also working on a plan to allow our teachers to come back in to clean up their rooms for the end of the year. Some of our teachers will be moving rooms, so we have to prep and be ready for that also. And again, trying to keep minimal amount of people in the building at a time. Last thing I want to talk about, and I think I can share this also, just pull it up. We are working on a reentry plan. We're starting to anyways. Give me 1 second. There we go. I'll share it one more time. So we're working on our reentry plan for 2021. I pulled together some resources just to start. We have an interim guidance for administrators in K-12 schools in the US. We have some CDC recommendations, and then I grabbed a thing from Copenhagen. They have a great document on reopening their schools and what they did. We're going to follow 4 major points or 4 guiding principles as we look to open for the fall. We're going to protect the health and safety of our students and staff. I think that's primarily the number one component. We're going to follow all the guidance and regulations of the governor, the Department of Ed, and the local Board of Health. We're going to provide consistency in school routines. I think that's critical for us to make sure we manage to do. We've done a good job with our remote learning plan so far this year. We need to really focus on routines for next year. And we're going to try to provide clear expectations for teachers and students. So what the plan is to develop these working groups within the schools. So what I'm asking and what I'm going to put out there later today is we're going to have our teachers and administrators participate, but I'd also like to put it out there any community member who'd like to participate in the process too. I think the more information that we can share and work together with is important as we look towards opening. And the topics that we're going to really look upon is the arrival and dismissal, how we're going to schedule our classes with social distancing and scheduling. What do we do with entering and exiting classrooms, the use of materials, hygiene procedures, food service, maintenance, recess. Those are the big topics that we're going to try to tackle through these working groups and come up with a document that really makes sense for the fall. Unfortunately, we don't have guidelines yet from the state, but I think it's important for us to start sketching out what it could look like. There's a lot of talk among superintendents on, what the potential could be, whether it's double sessions or, an A schedule, a B schedule. We'll just have to kind of wait and see, but we're going to start those conversations early. I think that's something that, we did when we started the remote learning plans this year. We really kicked it off quickly and fast, and our staff did a great job of doing that. So I want to start those conversations about 2021 quickly. Because I think it's critical. Our nurses also started to put together some guidelines and procedures that I think are important. These haven't been vetted through our Board of Health yet, so I'll pass that to them later once we complete the document for them to review. But just about sick day guidelines, what the first month will look like after school reopens, what students should staff if they present with COVID-19 symptoms, what are the protocols that we're going to follow. And then emergency procedures for anything besides that. So, we're really starting to kick off what we're going to do next year. And hopefully, we're in line with what the governor and the state decide, but we're on our way of determining that. Any questions on that document or any comments or?
Looks like you're putting a lot of time and energy in the right places, right? Better to be prepared so that when we do get the green light, we're ready. Kind of like what we're doing for businesses in town as well.
Yeah, we're really trying to focus on that. There's only 3 weeks of school left. To be honest, it's amazing that there's only 3 weeks left. And if we don't start to process the beginning of the year now, we're going to be behind the 8 ball. And We've already started purchasing PPE equipment. I think we're close to having a solid plan for the fall, and hopefully, again, like I said, we're in line with what the state's going to recommend, and it'll be easy for us to make some quick adjustments and be ready to go.
Great.
Pete, if I could just, I'm sorry, if I could just ask, when you're developing this plan, I started thinking about this the other day. If you have a fire alarm, everybody gathers in tight quarters during a fire alarm. If that could just be addressed during your discussion,
Yeah.
at least how we're going to social distancing if there's a fire alarm. People are gathering in actual tight areas. I don't know if we can separate them a little bit more. So it's just something to think about, and I'm willing to help you in any way if you want some help with that discussion. All right?
Yeah, I absolutely, Mark. I think that's a great point. I'm not sure what school will look like in the fall, right? So we may not have everyone in the building at the same time. To be honest, there was a research study that went out. The results just went out about a week ago. 70% of the parents in Massachusetts aren't ready to send their kids back to school.
Wow.
So I'm worried about the number of kids who will come back, which parents will let them come back because they're afraid. And
That's a big number.
it's huge. It's huge. Now, hopefully as we see the trends continue to go in a really positive direction, people will feel more comfortable. And I think this plan that we're going to put together should put some people at ease, but there'll still be people that are nervous. And so I don't know how many students we'll have in a building at a time. And to be frank, too, staff members, we got to consider staff members who may be anxious to come back or have some pre-existing conditions. So those are all, I think that you mentioning the fire alarm is a great component to this, and really think about all those other pieces that, that fall into that area.
Yeah, we at least have 2 or 3 per school year. So
Right.
So it's just something to think about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great point, Mark.
Thank you.
Dennis, did you have any questions? Are we good as far as? Okay. No.
Pete,
Got the-
Pete, can I ask one more question? Is it going to be you mentioned earlier that it was you're talking about graduation. Is it going to be the normal graduation?
So in August?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, we're going to wait and see what guidance comes from the state and the Department of Ed. Personally, my guess is we wouldn't be able to have every student with their whole family on the field at one time like we typically do. Could it be by August, could we have every student, with 6 feet distance on the field? I think that's maybe a possibility, but the stands, my guess is we won't be able to have everybody there. It might not be, mom, dad, siblings, and, grandparents like we typically do. It might be more just, parents or just immediate family that can come and then still practice the 6 feet distancing on the stands. But, when we get a little bit more info, we'll kind of work through that process. We did get a guidance from the Department of Ed and the governor that, they were really encouraging that if you're going to hold a graduation ceremony, that it be done over the summer, like after July 19th into August. So that we decided that a couple of weeks ago. So we're in line with what they're saying, but they haven't provided us with a little bit more info yet. I have a call actually with the commissioner today. So maybe he'll provide some more info. I think they're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I asked, because I didn't know if anybody had a set plan, but if you need any guidance from the FD, just let us know. Okay.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Excellent.
And hopefully you guys can be out there for the parade, except for you, Mark. I totally understand.
We're gonna see if we can we can arrange a fire engine to help out. All right.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think it'd be a nice touch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is the
Yeah,
best place
so
for people to go to the schools, Peter? If you don't have kids graduating, would you recommend they go to either DePietro or Stallbrook?
Or the Memorial School, because they're going to drive right past the Memorial School also.
All right, okay.
So you have that stretch of field that right now on 126 that people can gather at again, but practicing that 6 feet distance, I
Right.
think is important.
Okay, great. Thanks, Peter.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Dennis has a couple quick things.
Just a couple of quick things. Trash is delayed this week. We had a few phone calls on that, so push back one day. Memorial Day is one of those holidays that gets pushed back. Cycling Center is still open on Saturday. Silver Lake, we're working with the YMCA. Had a Zoom meeting with them yesterday, and we hope to open up the beaches in another week. A week from this Monday is the goal. They'll have lifeguards ready to staff, and we should be good to go. Obviously, the playground will be closed, but we met with Jim Cupper, who's handling the business openings for the town, along with our health agent, Bruce Wilson, and they're working closely. We'll be working closely with the YMCA to make sure that when we do it right. I was on a Zoom meeting yesterday with municipal officials. Every week we have one with the lieutenant governor. Still no real firm guidance on when we're going to be opening up town halls. We're still in that next phase, so hopefully it'll be soon. We've made a lot of modifications here in town hall to keep everybody safe, so hopefully we'll be opening to the public soon. As you know, the building is staffed. We're getting everything done online, but bills are paid outside. But it's nice to have that personal interaction with the public. So we're looking forward to that whenever that does happen.
Excellent. Okay. Anything else you want to add, Mark?
No, all set. Thank you.
All right, I think that concludes our show for today. Remember, if you haven't registered to vote, you have till tomorrow. That's what I said, right?
Yes.
Till tomorrow. We got
Try to get it done today, though, Larry
Get it
said.
done today.
Yes.
Today's the day to do it. In the meantime, please practice your social distancing. Wear your mask when you can. And as Mark likes to say, for God's sakes, wash your hands.
That's nice. Wash your
And we
hands.
didn't have any questions today, but if you do have any, please email them to us at covid19@bellinghamma.org.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.